Have you ever noticed how two leaders can face the exact same challenge and respond in completely different ways? One becomes energized and focused, while the other feels overwhelmed and stuck. There's a fascinating psychological concept that at least partially explains this difference. It's called locus of control, and understanding it might just transform how you approach both challenges and opportunities in your leadership journey. Today, I want to share something that only about 17% of people naturally understand. But here's the beautiful thing. Once you see it, you can develop it. And it doesn't require perfection or massive change, just awareness and gentle practice. So, what is locus of control? Let me share. In 1966, psychologist Julian Rotter noticed that people tend to have different beliefs about what controls the outcomes in their lives. Some people believe they have significant influence over their results. That's called an internal locus of control. Others believe that external forces like luck, other people, or circumstances primarily determine what happens. That's an external locus of control. But here's what I've learned over my many years leading coaching. It's not actually that simple, and thinking it's all or nothing can actually create problems. The truth is, life presents us with three different categories: things that we can directly control, things we can influence but not control, and things that are completely outside of our control. The real benefits to your leadership come from your ability to discern which category a particular situation falls into and act accordingly. Understanding locus of control isn't about judging yourself or forcing positivity. It's about clarity. When we're unaware of our patterns, we might waste energy trying to control the uncontrollable, like market conditions or other people's decisions or emotions. We might give away our power by not recognizing where we actually do have influence. Research shows that people who understand these distinctions experience less stress, make clearer decisions, and recover from setbacks 25 to 40% faster. Not because they're in denial about challenges, but because they're focusing their energy on where it actually makes a difference. But here's an important point: believing you can control everything is just as problematic as believing you can control nothing. I've seen leaders burn out trying to control the uncontrollable, and I've seen others miss opportunities by assuming they had no influence. The goal is balance and accuracy. I want to share a framework that's been transformative for many of my clients and team members over the years. Imagine three concentric circles. The inner circle is what you directly control: your actions, your responses, your decisions, your effort. The middle circle is your zone of influence: relationships, team morale, your reputation. Certain outcomes where your actions play a significant but not exclusive role fall into this category. The outer circle is what's completely beyond your control: the economy, other people's decisions or emotions, past events, natural disasters, company politics that are occurring at levels above you. Here's an example. Say you're facing declining sales. Things beyond your control might be an economic recession, competitor actions, new products entering the market, your company's past reputation. Things that fall into your zone of influence might be customer relationships, team motivation, product positioning, some budget decisions, things that your actions do influence, but you don't have direct control over. In your direct control are your daily activities, how you train and speak to your team, the quality of your proposals, the amount of effort that you put into the activities that are in your control, and your response to whatever situation is occurring. When we map challenges this way, something beautiful happens. We stop wasting energy on the outer circle and start finding creative possibilities in the inner circles. Now, I want to address something super important. I see some self help gurus or books suggesting that you should believe and act as if you can control everything. Not only is this unrealistic, I believe it's pretty harmful. I've watched leaders blame themselves for market crashes, take responsibility for their team members' personal problems, and in general burn out trying to control genuinely uncontrollable situations. True wisdom comes from accurate assessment and discernment. Yes, we often have more influence than we think, But accepting what we genuinely can't control isn't weakness, it's strategic intelligence. When you accurately identify what's in each circle, you can stop wasting energy on the uncontrollable. You can find hidden influence points you missed, focus intensely on what you can actually change, release unnecessary guilt and stress, and in general, just make way better use of your time and energy, which is truly your only limited resource. It's not about making excuses or avoiding responsibility. On the contrary, it's about being extremely accountable about the things that are directly in your control and directing your leadership energy where it will actually make a difference. So let's talk about practices that help you build this awareness and discernment that we've been discussing. I'd like to invite you to try something over the next few weeks. It's not a massive change, just a gentle experiment in awareness. For the first week, I want you to think about mapping a current challenge in a different way. So take one problem that you're facing right now, something that's been on your mind, grab a piece of paper, and draw three circles: control, influence, and beyond control. Spend 10 minutes listing every factor you could possibly think of related to this challenge. We're not looking to judge or edit, just build a list. Once that list feels complete, place each factor into one of the three circles. What do you notice? Most people discover that they've been spending lots of mental energy on the outer circle while overlooking opportunities in the inner circles. Then reflect. How does it feel to see it mapped out in this way? What shifts when you visually separate what you can and can't control? Hopefully, after engaging in that practice during week one, you're starting to think about and see different opportunities to bring your awareness of your locus of control more to the front of your mind. And so, over the next 2 weeks, we'll think about doing a daily practice, which will really solidify this habit and this thought pattern. Each day, when a new challenge or frustration arises, take just 2 minutes to mentally sort it out. What aspects are genuinely beyond your control? Where might you have influence that you haven't considered? And what can you directly control right now? At the end of the week, do a weekly reflection. What patterns are you noticing? Are you naturally focusing more on certain circles? No judgment, just curiosity. In the final week, we're going to look to expand this knowledge and this new practice that we're working on to a larger group around us. So, we're going to design a team discussion around this concept. The intention is not to preach or tell people that they need to think like this going forward, but more to explore together and see what kind of benefits you can derive for your team and your business. You might ask questions like, what if we mapped our biggest challenge into these three circles? Where have we been spending energy on things beyond our control? What influence points have we been missing? The goal isn't to convince anyone, but rather to introduce a new lens for viewing challenges. You'd be surprised at the kind of benefit and impact this type of thinking can have on your business productivity. And if your team needs a little bit of education on locus of control, feel free to share this video with them. So after practicing this for even a month, but especially as you get deeper into the process, you'd be shocked with the types of things that you discover. People who go through this awareness journey often share similar insights, like, I realized I was trying to control my boss's decisions instead of focusing on how I present information. I discovered I have more influence over the team's morale than I thought. I finally let go of beating myself up over market conditions and focused on how I can actually respond instead. I stopped waiting for the perfect circumstances and started working with what I had. The shift isn't always dramatic. Sometimes it's just a subtle reframing that makes everything feel a bit more manageable. But what it does is it can create forward momentum in your business and your life. So, as you get deeper into exploring this concept, I want you to remember the goal isn't to become someone who thinks they control everything. That's exhausting and unrealistic. The goal is clarity, to see accurately where you have agency and where you don't, to stop wasting precious energy on the uncontrollable while fully engaging with what you can influence. This balance, accepting what you can't control while fully owning what you can, is where real leadership wisdom and efficacy lies. Your locus of control isn't fixed. It's a lens that can shift with awareness and practice, and even small shifts can create significant changes in how you lead and live. So I'd like to leave you with just this thought. Leadership isn't about controlling everything. It's about wisely directing your influence where it matters most. The three circles I've shared, control, influence, and beyond control, are an invitation to lead with both courage and wisdom, to act where you can while accepting what you cannot change. If you try this 1 month journey, I'd love to hear what you discover. What surprised you about your circles? What shifted when you started seeing challenges this way? Remember, this isn't about perfection, it's about awareness. And awareness, gently applied, is the beginning of all positive change. Thank you for spending this time with me. If you liked this video, please click like, hit the subscribe button, and if there's anyone else that you think would benefit from this practice and knowledge, please share this video with them. Take care.